It's happening, yo. 6 years. For 6 years since the shutdown, Gigantic has laid dormant with basically no hope of revival. Maybe a few games aiming to fill in his shoes, but nothing more than that. Until October last year, where a throwback event was held by Gearbox for a few days, allowing you to play the game again. This was out of absolutely nowhere, and I completely missed it. Pretty salty about that. But it seemed like a way for Gearbox to dip their toes into the possibility of dragging Gigantic out the ground. And around a week ago, they finally found the grave, grabbed that shit by the neck, and slapped a shiny new tag on it. Rampage Edition. Gigantic is back. So Gearbox threw in a new playtest that took place on the 22nd and 23rd to prepare for the official release on April 9th, which is ways away. But hey, I finally got to play the game, and that's all I care about. I never got to play the game myself all those years ago, but from the countless videos I watched on this game all that time ago, the Gigantic today feels and is quite literally the same as it was back then. For better or worse, but mostly better. It's still just as stylistic. I mean, the art style is freaking beautiful. Watching videos is one thing, but playing it for yourself is a whole other experience. And the gameplay is just so fluid, so smooth. The animations are just crazy and makes the long smackfest a lot more engaging. Add the music on top of it all and you got a masterpiece on your hands. Hearing the loud ass horns as you get ready for a rampage just feels amazing. As for the game mode itself, it's a simpler version of the classic Clash mode called Rush. And if you want to know more about the classic mode and also the history and downfall of Gigantic 6 years ago, check out my other video that covers all that info. Okay, thanks. Rush is a way faster paced version of the classic mode, with a pre-spawn summer bloomer for each team, and the inability to put any creature on power spots. You can only capture power yourself. On top of that, you can switch characters as you please, and every character is level 10 when the game begins. So every character is basically at their maximum potential, which might lead to some pretty unbalanced games, but I don't think that matters much. And the Guardian only has one heart, helping games end a lot faster. Having a quick play mode in MOBAs like these is honestly great for the people who may not have the time to sit through 50 minutes of hard inting from your team. And since you aren't locked to a single hero all game, you can try out a lot of different heroes pretty easily. I couldn't tell if you should have been able to play Clash because even though it said I unlocked it, it was definitely not unlocked. So I'm just gonna assume I'm not. Characters are practically the same as far as I know. Nobody got reworked or anything. I don't even think anyone got balance tweaks. And I think it's a little early for me personally to have an opinion on game balance, especially because nobody really sticks out to me as an overpowered mess, but that might just be because of the nature of time to kill in this game. It's long as shit, but everyone I have played feels great. Ramsey is my boy right now. He has a clean kit, he's fast, he hits hard, he gets a lot of cooldown reduction by just hitting people, which lets him zip around and poison fools even more. His ult is an AoE poison and even an invis, which can be pretty versatile. Just an absolute 1v5 character, he's great. I will say one gripe I have for this game, and maybe it's just skill issue, but stamina just depletes too fast. And maybe that's because jumping depletes stamina in combat and all that, but I found myself slowly hobbling away from fights way too much. And Ramsey has a few things to help with that, like his stamina recovery with his Juju fruit or his dash, but it's still a little annoying, man. I've also been enjoying Wu. Just a really cool brawler, just as mobile as Ramsey. Apparently those two are buds, so that's a pretty funny coincidence. And if I ever feel like just shooting people, I play Beckett. First impressions though, character balance is just fine. Time to kill is pretty crazy sometimes though. You can spend 10 hours lining someone up. And unless you have slows or stuns, they can just haul ass. I can't see how it kinda stink for precision shooters like Voden or Amani, because all that effort hitting my shots just for them to walk away from the last one? Couldn't be me though, I just disconnect my brain and run them down. But I mean, I get away from some pretty stupid fights sometimes if they don't have those resources. So maybe that's a tweak for later if they're up for it. Otherwise, the game itself feels great. It's literally how I imagined the game would be if I ever got to play it. So Gearbox are the publishers of this game, but Abstraction Games are the ones who worked on bringing the game back. They're a pretty small studio but seem super passionate about bringing the game back, especially with all the support the game has gotten by the community even after the shutdown. They even consulted some of Motiga like Chris Chung himself, which is pretty cool. They have Rampage Edition as a premium definitive edition of Gigantic, so the cost is 20 bucks. Having a game that died once as a paid title is a pretty bold move. I mean, I guess Predecessor is doing the same thing. But Gigantic was a lot more niche in the mobile genre and still probably will be. But that's okay. If they're saying all without extra costs or microtransactions, I'll take their word for it. But real talk, microtransactions aren't the end of the world, and I feel like more people are willing to spend more than the base cost for this game as long as it's not predatory. So that means no paid battle pass, god damn it. Now the phrasing definitive edition is what worries me a little bit. I mean, definitive means complete, final. They've already shown what post-launch content there will be, like the 2 new heroes and a ranked mode, but I hope that isn't it after all is said and done. As I said earlier, besides the new additions, this is literally the same Gigantic. There wasn't even an engine upgrade. This is still a UE3 game. You probably wouldn't even realize, and it doesn't actually mean much except if being capped at 60 frames is a death sentence for you. I guess we can all enjoy the revival while it lasts, but I'm hoping it lasts more than a few years, you know? A few years for the reboot would have been longer than the last time though, I'm just saying. On that note, here's the million-dollar question. Will Gigantic stick around this time? Honestly, only time will tell. I can't even take a guess, but I think as long as advertising gets around and ranked matchmaking is good, that will hold the game for maybe a good year. If the game gets more heroes because there's a lot of concepts left, or new maps, maybe even some skins and events, then that would be way longer than a year. Again, the word definitive kinda freaks me out, but maybe I'm overthinking. The market is pretty gapped for games like Gigantic this time around. Smite 2 is in the oven sure, but Gigantic won't be smushed between Overwatch, Paladins, and Battleborn this time around. The games that are left are cemented, some more than others. Gigantic honestly has a real shot in the market if it tries, and this is proven by the way better numbers on the Rampage Edition trailer than the other announced trailers all those years ago. There's eyes on this game, man. There's barely anything stopping it from getting big this time around despite its nicheness. These days we've been feeding for some unique indie games and now we got a hero shooter mobile hybrid again, so we're eating good. I want to see this game go far, man. Honestly, a blessing in the first place that these companies even gave this game the time of day, especially after seeing how horrendous the first launch went. I still feel like they're holding their cards close, testing the waters. If the game does well, maybe more content will be coming down even years later, but again, only time will tell. Till then, I'ma be enjoying the ever-loving hell out of this game while it's around. Thanks for watching. Like, sub, hit that bell, all that, and I'll catch you later.